Hello everyone, welcome to Chelsea Sport Focus. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of breaking news. Let's get started.
Cole Palmer set for return, inside the full drama of Chelsea's most important comeback under Enzo Maresca police cars revolving light. In the final week of November at Cobham, something changed in the atmosphere, something Chelsea fans have been waiting for since the night everything fell apart at Old Trafford. Cole Palmer, the heartbeat of Enzo Maresca's new project, the man who transformed Chelsea's unpredictable attack into a fully functional system, finally returned to the pitch, jogging lightly with a ball at his feet as the winter sun settled over the training ground. It was the first real sign that the long, frustrating wait was finally reaching its end. But the journey to this moment was far from simple. It was filled with unexpected setbacks, freak accidents, confusing updates, and a sense of helplessness as Chelsea tried to navigate one of the most intense fixture blocks of their season without their most creative force. What follows is the full story, the complete timeline, the emotional weight behind the scenes, and how Enzo Maresca's calm, calculated approach kept the club steady despite losing the player who has become the face of modern Chelsea. The first chapter began at Old Trafford, in a match that was supposed to be a turning point. Chelsea entered the stadium full of confidence, armed with new tactical ideas and a belief that they could finally challenge the Big Six again. But only 20 minutes into the game, Palmer pulled up awkwardly, touching his groin with a grimace that told everyone in the stadium that something was wrong. His night was over, and as he walked down the tunnel, the early whispers around the press box were pessimistic. The initial medical checks ruled out anything catastrophic, but the groin problem was enough to sideline him through the early weeks of November, including key games Chelsea desperately needed him for. This alone was already a blow, but it was only the beginning. By mid-November, Palmer was close to returning, completing partial training sessions and even taking part in light ball work. Cobham staff believed that he could be back for either Barcelona or Arsenal. Maresca, known for his calm demeanor, began to hint that the comeback was near. For the first time in weeks, optimism began to replace anxiety. Then the bizarre twist happened, the freak accident at home. No collision in training. No dramatic moment in a match. Not even something that could be blamed on intensity, fatigue, or bad luck on the pitch. A toe. A small misstep at home. A sudden impact. A fracture. A player who had beaten top Premier League defenders, outwitted international-level midfielders, scored in high-pressure environments, and survived all the physical chaos of elite football, was now sidelined by something as simple as hitting his toe on a piece of furniture. Maresca confirmed the incident with a tone that was both frustrated and accepting, acknowledging that football, even at the highest level, is still played by humans who live normal lives off the pitch. The diagnosis was mercifully light, but the timing was cruel beyond imagination. Barcelona was 5 days away. Arsenal was 7. And suddenly, everything fans had hoped for was gone again. The groin was healed. The player was ready. The system was waiting. But the toe said no. Maresca didn't publicly show panic, even though his squad was entering its most difficult sequence of matches. Barcelona at Stamford Bridge in the Champions League, Arsenal in a fierce London derby, then a chain of away games, Leeds, Bournemouth, Atalanta, each coming with its own intensity. Chelsea needed stability. They needed control. And most painfully of all, they needed their number one creator. Privately, staff admitted Palmer's absence was affecting everything. Training exercises built around inverted half spaces felt incomplete. Drills designed to practice third-man combinations missed their usual fulcrum. And matchday preparation lacked the player whose simple ability to find pockets, slow down the game, and accelerate Chelsea's attacks had brought so much identity under Maresca. But this past week brought a seismic shift. A breakthrough. Palmer was back on the pitch, smiling, touching the ball, moving with a freedom that hinted the frustration was now behind him. Even though Maresca refused to commit to a specific return date, his tone shifted into something more hopeful than anything he'd said in weeks. We don't know when, but it will be soon. He is already on the pitch, touching the ball, and the feeling is good. In Chelsea terms, that is as close to a green light as supporters can get. Palmer himself has been intensely monitored during every step of the recovery. Staff members describe him as hungry, sharp, fully engaged, asking questions, checking video analysis, and maintaining full involvement in tactical meetings even when unable to train. The setback did not discourage him, instead, it ignited him. And Chelsea need that hunger now more than ever. The club's attack has struggled for rhythm without him. Numbers dropped. Confidence wavered. Young players who rely on Palmer's decision-making found themselves forcing plays that weren't there. The ball movement lost its natural fluency. Even Nicholas Jackson, who thrives on direct supply, felt the absence more than anyone. But with Palmer nearing his return, the team is bracing for a tactical lift that could elevate the squad just as the season's most defining period approaches. Chelsea have shown glimpses of brilliance without him, but brilliance without structure is costly in the Premier League. Palmer brings structure. He brings intelligence. He brings calm. He brings goals. And more importantly, he brings control. Now, as Stamford Bridge prepares for Barcelona and Arsenal, there's a sense that the storm is finally passing. Not because Palmer will return immediately, but because the end of the road is visible. Chelsea are not simply waiting on a player, they are waiting on their leader in the final third, their rhythm setter, their organizer, their moment maker. When the full comeback arrives, it won't just be the return of a footballer. It will be the return of Chelsea's identity under Enzo Maresca. A return that could shift the momentum of the entire season. And judging by Maresca's tone, by Palmer's body language, by the energy at Cobham, it's close. Very close. Chelsea's most important chapter of the season is about to begin, with Cole Palmer finally stepping back into the light. Chelsea star Caicedo under FIFA investigation for possible use of performance-enhancing substances. In a development that has sent shockwaves across European football, Chelsea midfielder Moises Caicedo has become the subject of a formal FIFA investigation following what governing officials describe as irregular biological markers detected during routine international testing. While no definitive conclusions have been reached, the mere existence of an inquiry involving one of Chelsea's most influential players has plunged Stamford Bridge into a cloud of tension, speculation, and urgent internal assessment. The news arrived unexpectedly late on Tuesday night, when sources close to the Ecuadorian national team revealed that FIFA's anti-doping department had requested additional information after analyzing samples collected during the recent World Cup qualifying window. Initial tests reportedly showed levels inconsistent with baseline biological profiles recorded over prior seasons, prompting a second round of examinations. Chelsea caught by surprise. Within hours of the report,